Hello, everybody. Come on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So good to see you here. Thrilled to have you joining here at the World of the Empowered Principal. Come on in. And this is week 4 of the spring training series that I'm doing if you're watching this in real time, it's 2024. And today is one of my favorite topics. We're talking about impact. So come on in, get settled in. If you're watching this live, if you're here for the very first time, if this is your first time ever experiencing any type of trainings or programs in the Empowered Principal world, welcome. Please feel free to say hi in the chat. Let me know that you're here. I would love to acknowledge you and say hello, to meet you. And if you're watching the replay, I'm sending you welcomes and lots of love and light. All right. So as you're getting settled in, I'm going to tell you just a little bit about who I am for those of you who are brand new to me. And if you have been in my world for a long time and you know who I am, or you coach with me, or you've thought about coaching with me, you're one of my members of my audience, I just want to say thank you so much. I am so honored to be offering this really highly valuable content in this new innovative way of thinking and responding and approaching school leadership. So thank you so much for your support and your interest in the Empowered Principal process and the Empowered Principal coaching program. So today we're going to talk about impact. Now, I want you to think about the word impact. And every time I come up with new content or innovative content, something new, or thinking about school leadership in a new and innovative way, I like to really study the words and the language and the concepts that my brain is offering, like going from like conceptual thinking down and trying to articulate this work from a cerebral experience to a visceral experience to an external, like action-oriented experience. Because I know we can't just think our way to empowered leadership. We can't just feel our way there. We have to think and feel and do. Okay. So when you're thinking about impact, I know we say in school leadership, I want to make an impact. I'm here to make an impact. But what we don't really take the time to do or really even contemplate is what kind of impact. And what do we personally mean by impact? Impact can mean anything, really. Positive impact, negative impact. It can be tangible impact, intangible impact. It can be immediate impact. It can be long-term impact, mid-range impact. It can be intellectually, spiritually, like personally, professionally. It can be academically, intellectually, emotionally, socially, physically, psychologically. It can be an endless array of impact. So when you're thinking about being a leader who creates impact, who makes an impact on somebody or something, you want to be clear about what that impact is. Otherwise, you will be confused and overwhelmed by all of the impact you could make. And one of the things I like to think about or pose to my clients is, how do you want to be known? What's the legacy you would like to be known for? What legacy do you want to leave behind? As a teacher leader, as an instructional coach, as an assistant principal, as a principal, as a district leader, a director, or an assistant superintendent or a superintendent. I work with a variety and a wide range of people, from superintendency all the way down to APs and aspiring school leaders. And at every level, you might have a different answer for your level of impact or the type of impact. As a dean of students, your impact might be to help children understand why they behave the way they do, and to help them navigate a process for creating choices and creating pause long enough to make choices in their life that serve them well And so that they can not just react to their emotions, but that they can reflect and respond in a way that they want to respond. So they're not just reacting, they're actually intentionally responding. Okay. So depending on the position you are in, that you are serving right now in your district, you will have a different definition of impact because your role is different. The expectations of that role are different. The outcomes that you are to create are different. So the impact that you are trying to achieve or that you would like to achieve and that you are setting goals for in terms of creating that impact, they will look different. So you have to answer the question of, what does impact look like for me? What am I creating here? Why am I getting up every morning and going to work? What's the impact that I want to create? And then why? You have to define that impact. And it will look different for every person. I'm going to offer you a few kind of general definitions of impact as I was thinking about all of the roles that I coach, all of the people I coach, and what kinds of impact they have articulated they would like to make. So some of the concepts that came up in terms of defining impact were planting seeds of inspiration and thought. I want to have the impact where I go out. I'm a thought leader. I'm a visionary. I am a leader. I am paving the way. And along the way, I'm planting seeds with my teachers, with support staff, with students, with families, with district leaders. I'm planting seeds of thoughts that inspire people into new action, or inspire people to change, or inspire them to celebrate the amazingness of who they are and what they're contributing. But it's my job to plant those seeds. That's the impact I'm making. I'm creating short-term and long-term impact by planting these seeds of inspiration and innovative thought, and giving people permission to be inspired and to take that action. Another slightly variation of this is you're inspiring actual change. So there's conversations around planting those seeds and giving people food for thought. And then there's kind of that next level of impact where you're actually inspiring some change, some external change to occur, some actual growth or development or evolution or progress or transformation, whether that's human progress, human development, human transformation, or whether you are working on a project and you're seeing it from beginning to end, or you're trying to implement a program or a curriculum or you want to implement your vision at your school and you want to see these particular changes, or you want to see people grow in this particular way, or you want to help students to transform the way that they think and feel about themselves as students, and you're inspiring actual physical change in their behavior, in the way they see themselves, in their behavior, in their actual development, and in their progress. Okay. Another slightly different variation is I want to improve an experience. I want to improve the experience for teachers. I want teachers to enjoy being teachers more. I want to improve that experience for them. I want to see all of the ways that I can impact their experience. It's almost in service of, right? It's like companies, I think of what came to mind were airlines. Airlines are probably always thinking about how can they improve the experience, the airline experience? How can we make the lines faster or shorter? How can we improve the first class experience? How can we improve the experience for people who are sitting in coach to maybe sitting in I don't know what they call that, where you can upgrade to the wider seats or closer to the front of the. Hey, Jenna, come on in. Good to see you. All right. So we're thinking about the types of impact we want to make, and it looks different for every person, but it also looks different for, I'm going to pin myself here. Just there we go. All right. So it looks different for every person, and it looks different based on the role that you're in, the impact that you want to make. But even further than that comes the impact of the impact. So what is the impact of your impact? Basically, what's the benefit of that impact, or what's the extended, the ripple effect that this impact you want to create as a leader has? Because impact can either be tangible or intangible. It might be a product you're creating, maybe you're creating a handbook policy, or you're creating your safety plan or your site plan for the year, something very tangible, or it might be intangible. You might be creating emotional responses. You might be creating inspiration. You might be creating empowerment. The impact you want to have, maybe it's staff culture, where it's not, you can't tangibly create it, mold it with your hands, but you feel the impact of it. It's an emotional experience that people have. So impact can be tangible or intangible, and it can be immediate. Like today, what's the impact I want to create today by the end of today? And then what's the impact I want to create long after I'm gone? My legacy. How do I want to be remembered? Remember coaching somebody, and I asked her, I said, what do you want your legacy to be? And she said, legacy? Like, I don't want to leave a legacy behind. I said, but you are regardless. You will be leaving a legacy. If you're a school leader, you're leaving a legacy. People will remember you. That isn't an option for you. You have a legacy, whether you're a stay-at-home mom, whether you are a CEO of a company, whether you are working from home, you're an entrepreneur. You're leaving a legacy no matter what. So you might as well take ownership and write the script of that legacy. What is the legacy you want to leave? And know that the impact that you have on a daily basis, a yearly basis, creates your legacy. It's the script of who you are, how you served, and the impact that you created. Okay. So be thinking about that. Like, if I'm going to have a legacy anyway, what do I want it to look like, feel like, be like? What is that story that I want people to remember me by? And remember that your impact, there's going to be impact that's short-lived. It might be a one and done kind of experience, like you created this impact for this one person in this one moment in time, or it can be long-standing. That same exact moment that felt like just a one and done, they might never forget that. It might completely change the way they think. I actually am going through something right now where a person backed into my car. It was by accident. It wasn't intentional. And I have shown up with a lot of love and a lot of grace. And this person just cannot believe how kind I have been, how gentle I've been, how understanding and loving and forgiving I've been, while also calling her and saying, we need to get this resolved. And she's more than happy to do it. But the way I'm approaching her, it's because I want to be known as a person for the rest of my life as somebody who chooses love as the filter through which and compassion as the filter through which I handle every situation, even unfortunate ones. So be thinking about the impact that you want to have in terms of the role you're in, the multiple roles you're in, right? You're professionally and personally, but also the greater impact you want to have. Like, you aren't going to be in this one job forever. You're going to want to have an impact that expands and evolves as you progress in your career. And there are endless ways to create impact. You can create physical impact, right? Making things physically more comfortable. Mentally, you can create impact. You can expand somebody's mind. You can help them expand emotionally and help them grow into emotional maturity and emotional regulation. You can grow and create impact financially, create more money in your life. By being of service, you can increase your impact in your family financially. Socially, you can increase your impact socially. For kids, you can do it academically or intellectually. Creating opportunity for somebody adds impact. But all of this comes down to helping people, and I'm going to talk about this more in depth, it's a self-identity issue. Creating impact for yourself and for others involves increasing, expanding, evolving your self-identity in order to help somebody else evolve their self-identity so that their expansion of what they believe is possible for themselves creates a bigger impact for them. So impact, having an impact, being impactful with other people begins with having impact yourself. And if impact and empowerment, if those words are kind of interchangeable, right? I see them as interchangeable because if you have impact, you are empowered. You are in a space of power, empowerment. Then in order to empower other people, you must see the power within yourself. You cannot empower other people when you're coming from a place of disempowerment. It doesn't work like that. Okay. So oftentimes what we do, and it's interesting that we do this, but I've coached people for the last 8 years. I've seen this over and over again. We end up seeing the power within other people more easily than we see it within ourselves. So we're like, oh, that person's powerful. That person has impact. That person's going to create an amazing legacy, but not me. They're amazing, but I'm just little old me, right? And we think that other people have better talent, better skills, more confidence, more drive, more intelligence than us. So we actually use their power. We see them in their empowerment, in creating impact, having an influence, creating a legacy. And then we use that against us to make it mean that they're powerful and therefore we are not as powerful. And we actually use it to disempower ourselves. So a lot of times this happens at work, but it might happen on social media, or like you'll get emails where like principal, some organization is, identified somebody as principal of the year, principal of the state, or principal of the world, whatever, right? But you're thinking like, oh, that principal's got it all pulled together. That person must be happier than me. They must have it all together. They're less stressed. They know what they're doing. Look at me. I'm a hot mess. Everybody likes that person. That person's energy is just so up there. They get all this stuff done. They're amazing. They're getting all the accolades. But then we make that mean because that person is in creating impact, we're using it and leveraging it against us to make us feel bad that we're not impactful. And we start to ask ourselves questions like, well, why am I struggling? What am I missing? What's wrong with me? Like, why is it so easy for them and it's so hard for me? But I want you to think about the impact of these questions. These questions literally take you on a search. You're going to go out, you're going to ask these questions, and your brain's like, okay, let me get to working on that. You literally send your brain off down the path of collecting evidence for how insufficient you are. Like, what's wrong with me? You ask your brain. Your brain's like, let me count the ways. I'd be happy to share with you what's everything that's wrong with you. Or you ask it like, why am I struggling so much? Like, what's wrong with me? Like, why am I struggling? Here are a list of reasons why you're insufficient. It will do that. You're sending it out. You're saying, can you please go help me understand why I'm so broken and so wrong and I'm missing the boat and I'm not being impactful? You send it out on a mission, distracting it, asking it to collect all this information. Why is it so easy for her and not me? Here's why. You're the problem. It's you. Inherently, you're just not good enough. Oh, well, that's going to be a problem. How can I create impact if I'm inherently insufficient? You say, what am I missing? I don't get it. I've done all the things. What am I missing? And your brain's like, there are so many things that you're missing. I don't even have time for you right now. I can't even list all this out. I want you to notice the questions that you ask yourself matter. You cannot be impactful when you're looking at other people in their empowerment, creating impact, and you use it against yourself to disempower yourself. Now, I know at least with my clients, I know that you can wrap your head around this like at an intellectual level. And then you're like, okay, I get that I do this. I shouldn't do that. So why do I do it? And here's my theory. There are different versions of you as a principal. And your self-identity as a leader really, really matters. This is my like next level aha. There's the educator in you, the teacher in you, compassionate, empathetic, understanding, relational, like prioritizing relationships, focusing on how you're feeling. And then you have the boss in you. That's the taskmaster, the get things done, the productivity, the empowered version of you. All the meetings, fired up energy. It's like go time. You're like productive, get it done. So there's this like educator portion of you, there's the boss in you, and then there's the leader that has to be the visionary, the inspiration, the person creating impact. You have to be the one, like the whole enchilada, the whole package. You have to be the educator and have an educator mindset and heart. Then you've got to have the boss hat on. You've got to be that taskmaster and productivity and get all this stuff done. And then there's the leader where you combine the two. It's the balance of those two together. It's like where brain and heart and soul work together as a team, where you take emotional ownership, emotional maturity, emotional regulation, and you use it to manage your time, manage your planning, to create balance, to build relationships, and to hold adult, mature conversations, to communicate and articulate clearly, to really work that skill of communication and relationship building, to step into your leadership, and to really see that all of that is impacted by emotional regulation and maturity. Your identity as a leader, how you see yourself, how you talk about yourself, how you think about yourself, how you feel. Your identity as a leader, in order to create impact, you need to see yourself as empowered, as having the power to create influence and impact. So how does identity have anything to do with impact? Here's the process. Identity is a form of self-efficacy. It's your belief. Efficacy just means the belief in your capacity and your capability to achieve or accomplish something. So you became a school leader. Now, do you believe you have the capacity and the capability to be accomplished and achieve success as a school leader? Most people, the gap is huge. You jump from being a teacher or a teacher leader into an administrative role. There's a gap in efficacy. You might know that you can handle yourself in a classroom, and then maybe you became an instructional coach, and then you had a gap in like, but can I coach adults now? Now I'm working with adults, not children. There was a gap. And then you go into school leadership. There's a whole nother gap. Do I have the capacity to be a leader, to be an administrator, to be a boss? Oftentimes, the first few years are like, no, I don't feel like a boss. I feel like a gooey mess. I don't know what I'm doing. So that efficacy matters. Your thoughts and feelings about yourself, that the identity as a leader, that has to build up. There's a gap when you go into school leadership. And it takes a while for you to close that gap. But as you're doing that, you don't wait until the gap is closed before you create momentum and energy to do the job, because you're doing this all at the same time. You're co-creating. You're building up your efficacy, which is building up your energy, your momentum. Like you're working every day to like build up your identity, to build up that efficacy. I handled this. I did that. I solved this. I learned this. It's the conception of your thoughts and your ideas and the interpretation of what's going on around you and all the stimulus coming at you, and then making decisions that generate momentum. So you have thoughts about yourself that generate energy, fuel, momentum that puts you into action. And then the actions that you take creates this impact. That's the result that you're achieving. But it comes from a place of empowerment, your sense of agency, your sense of authority, you're giving yourself permission, feeling powerful, feeling like you have a say and that you have the capability to actually go and do the job. But in order to do the job, in order to take the actions, you have to believe that you are capable. If you didn't think that you were capable, let's say this. Let's say you're like, somebody says, hey, I want you to drive in the Indy 500. And you're like, I do not know how to drive one of those cars. Oh, no, it's okay. Just put on the race gear. Here's these special little shoes. I don't really know. Here's a helmet. Get in the car. And then like, there's these paddles and you just go. You'll figure it out. That's what it feels like, right? You're like, oh my gosh, I'm dressed like a race car driver. I'm sitting in a race car and I don't know what is going on here. That's what happens when you get into school leadership. And there's all these bells and whistles and buttons, and they're probably talking, they probably have mics and speakers or whatever in your ears, and they're trying to coach you on the drives and this and that and the curves and the turns. You're overwhelmed, right? You just don't even go. If you don't believe you can do it, you're just going to sit in the car frozen. You're not going to drive. But if somebody says, hey, we're going to teach you how to do this, and we're going to take you to a small racetrack that has a straight little stretch, and we're going to be in the car with you, then you are like, okay, tell me what these things are. You're going to learn along as you go. You're going to be in the car. You're going to drive it today, but you're going to get the coaching, the guidance, the support that you need. It's going to feel a lot safer. You're going to feel a lot more confident, and you will feel like, oh, I'm going to be able to drive this car. That's what school leadership feels like. So to create the type and level of impact that you desire as a leader, which you have to define for yourself first, you have to have the self-efficacy, the belief in yourself, that you have the capacity. Future you has the capacity. Future you has the capability to create the impact. But you also have to apply at the same time the energy of inspiration to your actions to create that impact. So you've got to get in the car with some coaching, with some guidance, and you have to push the buttons and get some right and get some wrong and push the gas and not know how to stop and learn how to turn the car and navigate around other cars. You have to do both. You're building up your identity while you're building your identity. You're learning how to drive the car. You're learning how to drive this school and be a leader of the school while you're in the seat, learning and figuring it out. That's what the Empowered Principal program does. It's the coach that sits next to you and says, hey, let's slow this down. Let's take this one step at a time. I'm going to guide you through. Here's what this is. Here's what that is. Here's how to hold this conversation. Here's how to prioritize your calendar. Here's how to feel better. Here's how to coach yourself off the ledge. We're going to make sure you stay safe. Here's a helmet, right? So efficacy, this is the secret formula that I finally figured out that creates impact. Your efficacy plus your energy, the fuel in which you use to fuel your actions, equals impact. So self-efficacy is identity and belief in yourself to create that desired result, right? So when you have high levels of self-efficacy and you have emotional fuel that feels really good, when you add those two together, you create more impact. It's empowerment. Efficacy plus energy equals empowerment. That's the equation. And I've never been able to articulate it so clearly and so simply, but it took me 7 years to figure this stuff out. to see it over and over, to coach this many years and to see like, oh, here's the formula. And it works. I've coached dozens and dozens of people, and I've presented to hundreds and hundreds of people. And this is the equation. If your self-efficacy is low, your energy is going to be low. It's going to be low impact. When your self-efficacy starts to raise, your energy raises, your impact raises. This is how it works. So I want to say something that's very simple and profound at the same time. It's a 2-word sentence. You matter. You matter. Creating impact is knowing without a shade of a doubt that you matter. What you do, what you think, what you say, what your ideas, your energy, your skill set, your individuality, your unique way of thinking and leading, all of your goals, your dreams, those all matter. You create impact to the capacity to which you believe that it matters. You believe that your dream, your vision, your skill set, the way that you show up in the world, the way you do things matters. It matters to you at an individual level. It matters to those you lead, but it matters to the greater good. For you, for them, for the greater good. It all matters. So for those of you who are saying that you want to make an impact, I want to make an impact, you must first decide that the impact you want to make matters. Like what you have inside of you, what is it that I want? What would feel good to create? What kind of impact? How big of an impact? Do I really want? Do I want to save the world? Do I want to run Amazon? Can you imagine running Amazon? And think about this. For the people out there who are changing the world, I mean, that Amazon has definitely changed the way people shop. Brick and mortars are closing because Amazon is so convenient, so easy. But you have to think that level of impact requires a lot of angry customers coming at you saying, you said it was going to be a one-day delivery. Where's my package? Or you said I could get this as part of my Amazon Prime. Why not? Why am I not getting it? The amount of customer service that goes into Amazon for it to be as impactful as it is also comes with it a huge amount of responsibility and a huge amount of layers that need to be in place, safety nets, layers to ensure its success. So when you're thinking about the kind of impact you want to make, it's like, yeah, I want to change education. Do you? Because with that comes a lot of responsibility. But right now, you might just say, I just want to impact my school. I'm a school leader. I want to impact where I'm at right here, right now, doing this thing. You have to decide the impact you want to make. One, that it matters, and that you are the one to make it happen because you're the one in the position. Nobody else can do it for you. But you're there because you matter. Your teachers are there because they matter. Students are there because they matter. The people you are working with, everyone matters. And how you show up, the energy, the approach you take, it matters. Believing that it all matters is what gives you the energy and enthusiasm to take the actions required and to generate that momentum so you can start moving towards the impact. Now, why don't we just get up every day and have the perfect amount of efficacy and the perfect amount of energy and the perfect amount of empowerment? Humanness. We have triggers, and triggers create obstacles. There are triggers. There are situations that come up that are going to trigger your thoughts and emotions. And before you even know it, you're going to be in reactive mode. It's going to take you out of intentional mode. You just something hits you, This just happened with my son on the phone the other night. He said something and I was like, whoop, I got into mom zone. I'm like, the kid's 25. What am I doing? No, but I got triggered and I went right without even, it's like this. You go into reaction mode versus being intentional and pausing before you decide to respond. So it happens because we're humans. It's not a problem when it happens. It's normal when it happens. We just need to identify those triggers like, oh, I've been triggered. I can feel my energy has shifted from positive and intentional to a little more reactive and unintentional. That's it. You just, there it is. There it was. Okay. It creates awareness. Awareness is required. And the trigger is the awareness button. The trigger's like, boop, I'm going to create some awareness right now. You're like, whoa, what's happening to me? Why am I so triggered? Awareness. Okay, now that I'm aware, I need to create alignment. I need to get back in alignment because this doesn't feel good. The way I'm thinking and feeling right now, it feels off, doesn't feel right. I want to like react emotionally. I'm going to pause here. I'm going to take a breath. And I'm going to get back into alignment with intentionality. And then once you have realized that and you realign, you get into momentum. Because I think personally, the hardest part of school leadership is emotional dysregulation, either in ourself or in others. Because when we're not in the identity of empowerment, when we're not identifying, we're not, self-actualizing and feeling like super empowered, and we're feeling a little bit of doubt or a little bit of fear, or a little bit of frustration, or a little bit of like overwhelm, when those emotions start to creep in, we're like, and the nervous system starts to get, a little dysregulated. And then our emotional response turns into reaction. And when we're dysregulated, we aren't able to hold space for ourselves or our staff or the teacher that came in upset or the parents who are coming in sideways at us. For all those people, students, staff, parents, district people, whoever's coming at us sideways and they're dysregulated, if we're also dysregulated, game over. It's like setting off a string of firecrackers. It's like pop, pop, student pops, teacher pops, you pop, parents pop, everybody's popping. Okay. So when we're dysregulated, the brain tends to offer blame. It's either I'm at fault, it's either us or it's them. Something's about me is insufficient. Something about them is insufficient. Something about this situation feels wrong. It feels insufficient. It's fight or flight, dysregulation is. When you get triggered, oftentimes it's something external. Sometimes you can trigger yourself, right? With thoughts. I know I wake up and I'm like, why am I having all of these incredibly low self-efficacy thoughts today? These are not feeling good. So that does happen. But oftentimes it's external. It's another person. It's a situation. It's the weather, the traffic. It's, the long line at the grocery store. It's social media. We're like, oh, look at all those principals getting awards. Look at all those principals who are home living their best life while I'm overworking. Look at all those people who are making more money than me. Look at all those principals who get to present at conferences while I'm here just grinding my fingers to the bone, working on my site plans and my observations, right? How can I feel like them? I want to feel good about me. So we start to compare ourselves, right? We start questioning our identity, or we just compare our identities to other people. We're like, oh, look at them. They're so empowered. They're successful. How do I create that for myself? I want that. I want to feel that way about myself, about my work, about my staff, students, my school, community, my outcomes. And we start to wonder, and in the wondering of the how somebody else accomplished their goal. And by the way, a lot of times we just assume that they feel amazing, that they're successful, that they have everything they've ever wanted, they're living their best life. But when we focus on how did they do it? How we want to ask, how did they do it? Our brains offer what I call a protection plan. It's a set of reasons as to how that person did it, and how they did it can't apply to us. And then that is a protection plan. It's like, oh, well, you know, they're prettier than me. They can be on social media, or they're smarter, or they've got to have it easier. Their school district must have tons of money just to get results like that. They must have something I don't have. And we are like, it's a set of excuses or a set of reasons as to why we can't feel that way, or we can't create that, or we can't have that. And the protection plan just comes into play. Oh, it's like an insurance plan. It's like, here's a protection plan so you don't have to hold yourself accountable to why you're not creating the results you want, why you don't feel the way you want, why you aren't taking the actions that you believe will get you the results you want. You think they've got something you don't. They must have better connections. They have it easier. They have more resources. It's not hard for them. None of that's true. None of that's true. And in fact, we don't know their story at all. We made that up. But when you decide how they did something and you make it mean that it's something that you don't have access to or that you can't obtain, the protection plan is like, perfect, you're off the hook. You don't have to try because you can't do it. It's just not an option. I was just coaching somebody today, and she has 7 observations. She wants to get them, like they're due on Friday. And she's like, well, it's not going to happen. I'm going to have to ask for an extension and do them over the weekend. I said, it's only Tuesday. You've got Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Why not? Well, her protection plan came into place. Well, testing's going on and this and that and this and that. And I said, so you decided without questioning that you weren't going to be able to get them done. And now you're going to have an uncomfortable conversation with your boss as to why you didn't get them done by the deadline versus believing I can get them done and taking away all the excuses. And all of a sudden she's like, oh, I totally have the time. I just didn't put it on my calendar. And because it wasn't on my calendar, it wasn't a priority. And because it wasn't a priority, they're certainly not going to get done. I said, exactly. But when you decide something is off, completely off limits to you, you're off the hook. You don't have to do it. It's just out of your reach. It's out of your control. And that part feels good for a minute because it's like, yay, get out of jail card. I don't have to do the work. Except that option, it's not peaceful. Not getting results that you want, like not being able to lead your school in the way, create the impact that you want, that's not peaceful. It's painful. It's grueling. It's almost torturous. But we do it to ourselves all the time. We're like, well, I can't have that. So I guess I'm just going to sit over here and suffer. I'm going to not have any impact. I'm just going to be a lame duck principal. It's an excuse that your brain offers for you to stay in your zone of safety, zone of comfort, and perceived peace, but it's not peaceful. It's this dichotomy, this dissonance of an endless chase of aching for what you want, aching for the self-identity of an empowered principal, wanting to be successful, wanting to create an impact, but feeling like as much as you want it, there is no access to it. It's believing that it's out of reach. It's out of your control. So, what's the secret door that frees you from this painful cycle of dissatisfaction and disempowerment? There is an out if you want to see it. You turn back your attention to your self-efficacy. You have to focus on your identity as a school leader, your talents, your strengths, what got you here. You realize you did accomplish getting the school leadership position. You did grow your income. You do have an impact. You already are a person of impact, a person of influence, a thought leader. You are creating a legacy already. It's in the works. The adversities you overcame that nobody else had to do but you. You come as a unique package. You're a freaking miracle because there's only one of you on the planet. And you are the one that landed this job. You are the one they hired. They wanted you. It's kind of like when you're dating. It's like the one. You date a lot of people and it's like lovely people, nothing against them. But then you meet the one, the ideal mate. And then you land the job that's the ideal job, the one. And did you know that you are the one for them? It's almost hard to wrap our heads around. You know, when you like are infatuated, when you're a kid and you're dating and you're infatuated with somebody and you want to date them so bad, or maybe you're dating them and you can't even believe it. You're so infatuated with them, but you can't imagine somebody feeling that way about you. Your district feels that way about you. They're so tickled that they hired you. They're giddy. They want you to lead their school. Your talents, your strength, you got hired. You certainly did something right to be where you're at right now. And every time you level up, when you go from teacher to teacher leader to AP to principal to other districts, other schools, you go up and you go into district level leadership, directors, coordinators, assistant soup. When you go up that chain, should you decide to, should that be your destiny and your destiny, your legacy, should that be the decision you make for your career path, every single time you level up, it's going to be accompanied by a self-efficacy assessment. There's going to be a gap. There's a little assessment of where I'm at now, what I believe I'm capable now, and what I believe I need to be. There's going to be a gap. And we forget this every single time. And then we're like, why do I feel so incompetent? Why do I feel so new? Why do I feel so insufficient? It's because you intentionally decided, I choose to grow. I choose to evolve. I choose to transform. I'm a human and I'm developing until the last breath I take. So I'm going to go through this gap period where my self-efficacy needs to be assessed and it needs to be questions and I need to like learn new skills to expand that self-efficacy. And you just step into new opportunities to expand yourself and what you think you're capable of. And every time you do that, you expand your empowerment, you expand the impact that you create through expanding higher and higher levels of self-identity, self-efficacy, higher levels of energy. Because every time you get into a new job, you're like, whoa, okay here. I got the keys to the office, but am I really ready for this? It's like when I brought Alex home from the hospital, he was 2 weeks early. I missed my last 2 weeks of baby prep classes. We had him. We brought him home and I remember just looking at him in his little car seat, like, what now? I don't even know what to do. I didn't feel ready. It was crazy. Guess what? He's 25 now. So we made it. But you think to yourself, can I handle this? I just signed up for life, an impact on this little creature, this little human. Can I handle this? Am I capable? Do I have the capacity? The answer was no. I did not know what I was doing. I had to be driving the car while I was learning how to drive the car every single day with him. And you know what happens? You figure it out because your identity is, I figure things out one step at a time, one day at a time. I'm open to learning. I'm open to being new. I'm open to being confused. I'm open to being overwhelmed. I'm open to being that awkward feeling of not knowing what I'm doing. I'm open to it. And that is what builds your capacity. So the path to impact is at first when you step into a new position or you step into like taking on more as a school leader, maybe you've been in this position, you're like, I've got this, now I'm going to add on a little bit more. Your answers to this are going to be shaky. Your belief is going to get tested. You're going to fail the exam the first time around. Like your self-efficacy will be tested. There will be an examination to test your skills and your capacity to believe in yourself. You're probably going to fail multiple times. You're going to go through these conditioning exercises. You're going to get up and go to the racetrack every single day, and you're going to get in the car and you're going to practice. Your baby's going to wake up and you're going to have to figure out what today brings. But you will practice and study. You'll go to school and you'll figure out today. Today, this new situation happened. Tomorrow, that situation happened. I just did my 3-month plan and I didn't even realize like how soon testing was coming up. You will practice and study. And then you'll be like, oh, I spent all this time over here thinking that was the most important thing. And I learned that really it wasn't. I should have been over here. But eventually you'll get it. You'll pass, you'll succeed, and you'll move to the next level. Impact, 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 expanding, growing. So here's the empowerment plan that creates impact. 3 steps. Number 1, define. Define the kind of impact you want to make and why. Step 2, declare. You're going to declare the identity of the version of you that creates this level of impact. Who do I have to be to create this impact? And then 3, develop. Develop this identity over time through the combination of thought work, building up your belief, and building up your action. That is what creates impact. It's basically the process of human development. It's the process that we simulated in schools for the most part, right? Doesn't it sound familiar? Like we're in the school of life. Here's the funny thing. As educators, we kind of condition people to believe that they just endure the pain of learning from the age of like 2 or 3 in preschool up, well, kindergarten, because I think preschool tends to be pretty fun, but we're trying to get them to read and write now earlier. So kids are going to school age 2 or 3, all the way up to 18, and then they go off to college, most of them, some of them. But then there's a moment at which we're done with school. We get to close the books, stop learning, and finally just go get a job and live life. But in the school of life, human development is on its own timeline. There's not bell schedules, there's not grade levels, there's not structure. So you actually get the option to opt out and not take the test and not up level. You can stay in the same grade level for the rest of your life. If you want. If you don't want to up level. If you want to keep your impact the same, you just stay stagnant and you don't learn. And you'll get invitations in your life to master the material. But you don't have to accept the challenge. You can avoid it, you can deny it, you can buffer it, you can push it away, and you can just stay as you are right now. Should you not accept the challenge, right? Somebody's like, you should be a school leader. Oh, no, that looks too hard. I'm going to stay a teacher. But what will happen is, okay, if you're going to stay a teacher, which a lot of people do, then the lessons become how to become a master teacher. And new challenges will present themselves, new kinds of parents, new kinds of students, new types of learning needs. They will present themselves. You'll have to up level whether you stay a teacher or whether you up level career wise and you're like, okay, I want a position change in order to up level. There's different ways you have impact, right? You can decide, I'm going to be the most impactful 3rd grade teacher on the planet. I'm going to up level and be a master 3rd grade teacher. I'm going to be a master elementary teacher. Nothing's wrong with that. You can go be a master bus driver for 30 years and drive kids safely and never have one infraction on your driving record because you're a master at taking care of kids and make sure they're driving to and from. And you have relationships with them. You can be a master bus driver, just as valuable. Master cafeteria, master technician, master secretary, all of it. But in this program, with this group of people, we're here to be empowered principals to create the most impact we can. So once you up-level your self-efficacy, when you're like, okay, I think I am ready. I think I am capable. I do think I have the capacity to do this. That's going to put you into so much energy and what you need to study, what to gain momentum, the actions you need to take towards the impact you want to make. But you're going to get tested. You're going to be tried. Does that efficacy hold true in this situation? How about that situation? How about over here? And you keep learning and growing until you pass the test, until you achieve the impact. And then what will happen is you'll be like, I'm ready for the next challenge. And you might stay there for a while and enjoy that level of success. You might stay on that level and just, let me just be here for a minute and embrace it, enjoy it. But eventually you're going to want to up level, because this program's all about up leveling our lives personally and professionally. This is a life and leadership coaching program. So you need to think about it from a personal perspective and a professional perspective. Defining the kind of impact you want to make and why. Declaring the self-efficacy and identity that's going to create that impact. The version of you that creates that impact. And then you're going to go through the testing period. You're going to develop this version of yourself through that combination of like doing the thought work and the belief work, but also along with the action. And the biggest roadblock I see is new level, new devil. So you get through, you finally pass the test and you up level. You're like, oh, I went from AP to principal. And now I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. Like I went back to kindergarten again. So there's going to be some grade levels that you pass through really quickly. Like you have the skills, you understand yourself, you already have a high level of confidence, a high level of self-efficacy in your ability to handle what's going on. Like I see a lot of people who are in really strong teacher leadership positions move into like an AP role. And within a year, after 1 year, they're feeling really confident, like high level of efficacy because they've done it before. So some of the levels you go through really quickly, and then others are rough, right? Sometimes you pass a level, like I think about a video game, like sometimes you pass a level on the first try, but you have no idea how you did it. You somehow dodged all the skills or all the bad guys that you needed to learn. Not to worry, they're coming. Because then you get to the next level and you're like, oh, I didn't practice that skill at level 10. Now here I'm at level 11 and I'm in the trenches here. I've done this about 20 times. I cannot pass. So there's grade levels. There's going to be moments where you feel like you're just working on it forever. Maybe you've been retained in a class for a second round, a third round. Maybe you have to go to intervention for a while and get additional support. Like we do this to kids. There are some kids who have to give it a second go, a third go. Maybe you need support emotionally, psychologically from a therapist or a coach or a mentor or a counselor to help you pass the level. It doesn't matter how fast or slow you pass the levels. It's not like school. In school, we like fabricate, like we do a simulation, we crunch kids in a timeline. Making an impact as a school leader, it's not time bound. It's not grade level bound. It's not a cookie cutter recipe where every leader on the planet has the same number of days and the same number of school, same hours per day. We're not doing that. Your impact's more like getting on a roller coaster. Sometimes you're going to get on, you know how you grind, most of them, at the very beginning, you grind up this big hill. And it's work, conditioning, like anticipation, right? And then there's that moment that you peak, and then this lightning rush. You rush down to the bottom, and it's twists and turns and this and that. And you're going so fast, you're just trying to hang on, you're screaming, but you're having fun. It takes your breath away sometimes, makes your eyes water a little bit, right? But you're also laughing and screaming all the way at the same time. That's what living to your fullest empowerment, your fullest impact is all about. It's believing that you have the power to create anything you want. It's believing that you're capable and that you have the capacity to build up the muscles, to build up the strength, to build up the skill sets and the mental capacity, the emotional bandwidth to increase your impact. But you have to start with knowing that whatever impact you want to make, it matters. You matter. You got to trust yourself so that you can trust other people for the greater good. For you, for them, for the greater good. Knowing that there's going to be impacts that you get to experience while you're here. There's going to be those more immediate impacts. There's going to be like those mid-range impacts. And then there's going to be impact on a legacy level that happens well beyond you. Whether you set up this school for success, but then you get promoted and you don't get to see the end result of the work that you did. You have to sit with that and know it's okay. I set the foundation. I don't have to see it till the end. Where is the end anyway? You're going to retire at some point. The school will still be there. Students will still be coming through. Your legacy will live on. However many years you were at a school, you create an impact. It's not about the time. It's about the impact. You have to trust that the impact that you were meant to make, whether you were there 1 year, 5 years, 20 years, the impact you were meant to make is the impact you're making. But the starting line, step one, to bring it all home, is to believe that the impact you want to make, that it matters, which means you matter. And I want you to breathe into that statement. Because if you don't think it matters, or feel like, what does this even matter? What's the point? It does matter. And what you want, this internal desire that you have, this impact you want to create, listen to it. It matters. It matters for you. It matters for them, all of your staff and students, and it matters for the greater good, the community, the district, and the world. It does matter. I want you to feel the emotion and energy behind the words. My impact matters. It matters that I focus on impact. It matters that I make an impact. But I need to matter and they need to matter in order for the impact to matter. It's validating. It's an acknowledgement. You don't need other people to tell you, to acknowledge you, to validate you. It's your wisdom. It's your internal guidance. It's the truth of your words that your impact matters, your vision matters, you matter. And now you go out and you seek that evidence to prove those words true. Instead of asking, what am I missing? What's wrong with me? Why can't I do this? Flip those questions around. Don't send yourself down a path to look for all your insufficiencies. Go down the path of doubling down on your sufficiencies, what you've already accomplished, what you've already done, the things that are effortless to you, things that are just natural to you. You're going to create a momentum so big, it's going to feel almost effortless because you matter and the work you do matters. And that identity, who I am matters, the work I'm doing matters, the impact I want to create matters. Impact equals empowerment equals impact. It's all one combination. So here are the next steps you need to take. You need to define the impact you want to make and why you want to make it. Then you have to go in and declare, this is the identity. This is the level of self-efficacy required for me to create this. I'm going to have to up level what I think about myself, how I feel about myself. And then I'm going to work on and step into that identity through the combination of thought work and coaching and mentorship and the action, going out and doing the thing. And the last step is to register for the Empowered Principal Collaborative. So if you are so called, if you're inspired to learn more, to have a mentor, to have a coach, and to be in a community of people who will support you through the expansion of your self-identity, the expansion of who you are and what you're capable of, your self-efficacy growth, claiming that, and then doing the work, that balance of belief work, thought work, and action, the doing. You're being the principal and you're doing the principalship. The Empowered Principal Collaborative is this container. It's special. It's unique. It's different. I'm the only one offering something like this. It's the place where you come to get inspired, to stay inspired. It's my signature coaching program. It's in the Empowered Principal series. It's my best offer on the planet right now in my little world. So when you join EPC, you're going to have access to the entire Empowered Principal Leadership Mastery series: time mastery, planning mastery, leadership mastery, balance mastery, relationship mastery, communication mastery, emotional maturity mastery, and regulation. Plus, there are so many bonus materials. There's vision creation and implementation. There's kicking off the school year in the fall. So I break the school year down into 4 seasons. Through the Empowered Principal Playbook, you have a fall season, winter, spring, and summer. So we have kicking off the year, and you will create a 90-day plan, a 3-month plan for the fall, for the winter, for the spring, and for the summer. So in the fall, we do kicking off the school year, getting everything off the ground and running. We do the mid-year reboot in the winter. We build team. We do a lot of HR content in the spring because you're building team, you're hiring and firing. And then in the summer, we're working on the impact. We're reflecting. We're looking at this teacher and student journey. We're building vision and creation and how to implement your vision for the upcoming year and getting all of that planning ready for the fall to kick off the school year again. So that's the rhythm of EPC. And my very special offer during this series is that if you sign up before June 1st of 2024, if you're watching this live or if you're watching the replay in real time, if you sign up before June 1st, I'm giving you a $500 value off the full price of EPC. So EPC normally costs $19.97. If you sign up by June 1st, it's $14.97. And the other thing about signing up before June 1st is you're going to have access to all of the content early, and I'm going to be offering bonus planning sessions to get your school up and running in August. So we start in September. We'll start right after Labor Day, and we go all the way through June. So you'll get weekly coaching calls from September through May, but I will do bonus planning calls with you, planning sessions to get set up before school starts in August. And if you sign up before June 1st, we're also doing the Summer of Fun Challenge in June and July. This is a blast. It's a Facebook group for the Empowered Principals. There's over 2,000 people in this group. And I have done a Summer of Fun Challenge since 2020 when we were all locked away in lockdown, right? When we were self-isolating. I started to create Summer of Fun to find ways to help people have fun in isolation, and we were quarantining, and it took off. It's amazing. And I'm developing all new content for that. So in addition to that, you're going to get the Summer of Fun Challenge. So I'm going to teach you how to create balance and have fun in your life to really get the rest, relaxation, and rejuvenation that you deserve to have during your summer. So you're not worrying and planning and working your summer away. That's not what summer is about. It's about rejuvenation, having some fun, resting, relaxation, being a human that's not a school leader. All right. So with that, I will let you go. I hope this has been impactful. I have found this work to be profound. I think it's some of my best work yet. I'm so excited for the EPC group next year because we are expanding into creating identity work. We're doing inspiration work. Oh, thank you, Lisa. I so appreciate that. You're so, so sweet. Oh my gosh. Hello. It's good to see you guys. Hey, hello. Do it. Jenna's saying do it. It's the best group for principals. Yep, I agree. It is the very best. You guys are so great. I can't wait to have you guys in there. And it's one of the most fun groups. It's inspirational, but it also dives deep into not just the technicalities of being a school leader, but it really goes into the mental and emotional support required for school leadership. So come on in to EPC. Let your friends and family know that you're going to be joining EPC. If you've got colleagues, please invite them in. They also will get the discount. If you refer somebody in, they get the $500 bonus off as well. Okay. I love you all. Have an amazing rest of your evening, and we'll see you real soon. I'll see you in EPC. Talk to you soon.